kind of take a few breaths, be in the here, be in the now. I'm going to talk about the elements. So what you're going to find is that I kind of front stroke what we need right away and then step upon it, backstroke it in a way during this immersion. And that's because this initial day of information, no matter where we are in the process, our personal processing, integrating, it immediately starts to enable us to really better, to thine own self be true, our gifts, the star that we are, enabling us to kind of start accessing them, each and every one of them, from a safe place. So let's go out into the world, immediately be able to get those responses from the world in a good, safe, healthy way. And by the world, I mean the intuitive, the invisible, as well as the physical world. Inshallah and Ashe, just a little snippet from day one of Rising of the Origins, Divine Will's blessings to you and for you. And the magic gate, Venus has entered Leo, the season of the sun, for a galactic arrival. It goes off on holiday and then returns. So we've got like the summer. This is going to be truly the summer of summer loving and having some fun, love of self, loving our surroundings, love percolating out into our world around us. So it's like, are we feasting or are we in a shortage? Are we in a love famine? So ready to take my show above the 666 into the 111. I call it the elves, the elven. I'm really loving the elves. So it's just great to see that you've all been referring your friends and your guests to my show. And again, did you know that when we hit the 777, that truly is spirit of the self, the high heart, the middle heart, and the divine heart, inner spirit, spirit of the guard, guardians of our galaxy, a gatekeeper, the spirit of our higher self, it then becomes spiritual connection, the divine self-connected, intuiting, aligning, and resonating with the oneness creator. So this is one of the reasons why numbers are very powerful, the Powerball, the lottery and consciousness, the matrix, if you will. So with that, go ahead and share the excitement with your friends and go ahead and hit that white rabbit. It's the only way to guarantee that we all get that nutritional quotient that our soul, our heart so deserves. And the passionate energy of the charming yin fire snake along with the full moon. Wowza, it's like a whammy. How was your weekend? Share your rituals, enter into a conversation. And did you know, or were you being charmed, or were you the one doing the charming with the snake under that full moon? Either way, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. And the kickoff of the Rising of the Origins actually started last week. And if you're ready to really join in, all you need to do is activate your portal, setting the foundation, watch the replay. I did have an energetic hiccup. Gift and Purpose actually starts tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So go ahead and check your timeline, your time zone when I go live in your village using Zoom. And did you just love the strawberry full moon, musing meditation, sitting with your heart and your feelings? It's like our own truth serum. Feeling and believing and feeling brings us to an inner knowing. That's kind of what set the stage. But I'm going with the Fae today for our messages for this week. A little out of this world conversation. So are you ready to use your brilliance, the star that you are today? So everybody comes into this world with their brilliance. Even when I do cowrie shell divinations, it shows me where your brilliance is activated. And there's actually a message there that lights up our own unique stage. So it really is a great day to meditate, go digging in the dirt. I did that this morning, do some soothing rituals, take a hot bath, maybe add some bubbles, balancing both the eclectic energy of the other world along with our thought processor. You might get those aha eclectic moments that innovated and unlimited thoughts that we get to process, the ideals, the element of air, coming to a higher panoramic view, a different perspective that really comes from the outer world, the other world, where a door opens to a new way of living our life by divine design. So thoughts may be percolating, bubbling, sparkling, innovative, inspirational, operating literally higher than ever before. The outdated, the old Model T Ford is on the shelf. So my name is Tonya D. Welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. Authentically, heartfelt by divine design. Go ahead and hit that white button
on YouTube, Tonya D, and also my Musing with Tonya D podcast, the season of the witches. Subscribe there as well. The solar plexus is weaving the front side and the back side, the visions percolating. So you may see the letters of words. You know how you look at words and then you can see choice words, even in those games, like pick your 3 first words you see, kind of stuff like that. It's like that. It's a crossword puzzle, a puzzling word even, that really just aligns together before your very eyes. And with that, once again, let's give a shout out to my tribe. My village is growing, excelling. Thank you, gratitude, and blessings to you and for you. New peeps entering the show, the community, the village. New subscribers, I just like to give a voice acknowledging you, validation. I think we all need to hear our names sometimes, right? New friends and guests, welcome to the show. I am imagining, seriously, angel numbers of subscribers for my channels. Gemini season, I think I'm going with the 666 instead of the 555. So just stay curious, hitting the goal story, the spirit to spirit to spirit, the inspired intention, the inspirited, creating a village of musers, angel numbers. If you're in, go ahead and share with your friends, like-minded groups and whatnot. It really does take a tribe, a village, beyond like-mindedness, I should say. It has to be heartfelt, right? To choreograph the stage and change the world, an optimistic venue. But let's also give a shout out to those of you that tune into the replay later. Those have been a part of my journey since the beginning of time, space, dimension. Ashe and blessings to all of you and for you, each and every one of you. Thanks as always for tuning in, joining in, even if you do watch the replay later. And remember, a comment if you do feel like you're in need of a message for your day. Sharing is another way of paying it forward, a gratitude and a blessing. It kind of holds the guard for the outcome. You could also find me on TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Thanks for sharing those. Reels, thanks for saving and sharing those. I can't believe it. Loving that. I appreciate that as well, by the way. Just remember, I am your otherworldly shamanic reflecting assistant. You truly are your own healer. But sometimes we need a different set of eyes, a panoramic view, and an otherworldly life coach assistant, somebody to get us out of our own way, our magical way, our starlight way. And the daily snippet, what's this all about? Well, I like to bring in the cosmic energies, the planets doing their divine design, their elemental dance in the galaxy, along with the lunar energies of the moon. Being a reflector, I'm always following the moon through the seasons and the gates. Being in the season of Gemini, we do have the solar plexus by design online, mental clarity, the administration channel, data entry, thoughts percolating, words, Words are actually different forms of sigils and or letters is kind of what I'm saying. But just being mindful of our inner world, the voice inside of us, self-esteem, being optimistic, radiating like the sun, yellow, beaming, right? It's a different kind of yellow, I should say. There's like yellow that is matter, and then there's yellow that is energy. So it's energy to matter. Go ahead and take my Change Your Stars quiz to find out your intuitive gift order or psychic ability. We all have them. But I always see Gemini as questioning everything and curious, like Curious George, or the little engine that could. That's kind of what comes to mind. Traveling the neighborhood, the third house, communication, siblings. So kind of check into who's the ruler of your third house and where Mercury, natal Mercury, is in your divine design. And the 4 pillars of destiny, the elements of the day, I kind of bring in the energy centers, the meridians, the fields. But as a reflector, I'm always asking myself, is this the right time, the right place? Is this the right platform, even social media? Am I with the right people in the time and space that God universe wants me in? And what am I seeing that nobody else can see, which sometimes is galactic a lot? And what is the movement? What's the momentum that I'm creating and the solution I'm creating within the movement, the momentum? Hopefully it's like this otherworldly prophetic kind of voice that I bring in. But if you're curious how you could utilize your elementals off grid or on this grid, truly join me in the Rising of the Origins to really inspire, ignite a perspective that you may not have even thought about in the elemental realm. But the key is trusting our intuition, our intuitive gifts. And take my quiz, Change Your Stars, if you're curious or somebody's nudging you about your intuitive gift. Maybe it's activated and it's time you swirl it into use. Some of them may just be otherworldly. The out-of-body energy centers truly light up a different stage. But with the solar plexus online, along with our heart center, the relational channel, seeing into the other world tears in the universe, multi-dimensionally streaming in those otherworldly beings. It's time to identify a new panoramic view, one that is actually in divine alignment with who you are, because it will actually resonate. It will light up your heart. It's relational empathy, unconditional love streaming in. It brings a sense of personal empowerment. It's kind of like a valedictorian kind of energy to who you authentically are. But it's the alignment of our heart center, our relational channel, where that channel belongs. And what does your heart belong thinking about who you are? Your heart always knows. And really see what ideals uncover for you. It's air, the elemental of air. Air carries messages from one area to another, one tree to another, the winds of time and space. But the solar plexus is really doing a double weave today. It's double weaving the threads, front and back side, and vice versa. The wheels of thoughts, processing from probably the great spirit, a life you've already lived, and the life you're in, processing, receiving information from the past, possibly more so the backside of your energy center of your body, the wheels of time, thoughts, the front side of your energy body as well. Weaving these threads of these thoughts, receivership, receiving a new thought, actually being able to really have sight, clarity in your vision, to envision a thought and it becomes manifest. So it's going to be more of a feeling that you may feel as if you need to kind of be the guardian of that emotional feeling around the thought. So your mind may even feel as though all of this wardrobe, this organizing that we have to go through all on its own, it's cleansing space, literally cleansing the auric field, the mental and the causal field. But our heart, our relational channel, really is the one to determine where our thoughts about our life and ourselves belong. Does that thought belong or does it not belong? And it's percolating. So your mind may be shifting an entire panoramic view, something that's elevated, not of this world, but your heart has always known it. It's like you're at the podium. We always know where our belonging and our longing is. Where do you long to belong? And what are the words that you're using? And the magic and the essence is the beauty is watching the feeling of the mind. You might actually have to do a little bit of automatic writing or drawing. I kind of see that. And become connected with your heart's plan. What's the plan of the design of your heart? All along, following your heart. That's the key to most of this anyway. But sometimes we got Spock online, just saying. So the thinking, our thoughts might be prophetic. They could be very profound. Mercury, the ruler of our mind, is joining our eclectic energy, our innovation, otherworldly insight in the planet of Uranus. But it's manifesting. It's coming into this world from the other world. You will never see the future in the same way again because it's being ignited. It's being lit up, lightning, bolting kind of energy action. So the creation vibration is actually getting this magical, mystical makeover. That's the beauty of it, that we have, I talk about the energy centers activating at different times when we're born as we go through the cycles of life. But you may even go into the core, see your childhood self, and add more love, pouring that like ever before into your childlike wonder. We all go through things to get us to where we're meant to be. All we have to do is actually say yes and what else, and just get ready to blow out those candles, the dreams, the wishes that do come true. As long as we believe it, we feel it, our heart's in love with it, and we can open up to receive that, be in receivership. And the thoughts about it are actually more optimistic. So we're connected to the other world through just that, the other world, the outer world. Our heart is actually divinely connected to see into the spheres. You may be feeling a little vulnerable, a little topsy-turvy for the next few weeks, actually. Maybe you want to feel as if you're like a scorpion hiding under a rock, not to be seen, peeking out through the sand. That's kind of how I see the shaman's portal sometimes. But just know this is the rivers in flow, and allow ourselves to be in this optimistic vibrational frequency. Like it's like Zeus being the benevolent god, or I almost went to Hades, but it's just auspicious in design, even in the 4 pillars of destiny. And we've got this, oh my goddess, opportunity to really go deep down into the core of healing our authenticity. Our heart is thoughtfully online to really assist our highest of hearts, our higher self, our seer, what we look like on the other side. And as the day comes to a close, it's like, what are the thoughts that we're receiving? Being in receivership to open up and accept a new way of thinking about who you are. What are your thoughts about resting? What are your words you're using? What are the ones processing? What are the letters that you're rescribing? So when you hear them, you know, it's the duality, it's the masculine, feminine, yin, yang, sun, moon. So are we truly opening up, or are we working in opposition? Are we working together, or are we in collaboration? So if you're able to kind of meditate, especially during the even or even throughout the day, I do a lot of waking dream visioning, but thoughts we think become in alignment. They become in harmony, inner peace. So we're really being encouraged to do just that, balancing these threads, the seed notes, the sounds, especially of our imagination, our imaginal realm, honoring all aspects within our heart space of who we authentically are, and using the imaginal realm to bring in unity, which I will get to a little bit later. But the message for this Mystic Monday, I'm doing this a little different. I got to move this over here. Sorry. Doing a little dance. This Mystic Monday, where is my little buttons? There we go. We've got himself. I went with the Fae, but himself, number 17. So this really is spiritual divine connection. It's the divine is connected to our heart, streaming in divine universal streams of spiritual connection. But it's actually musing through our solar plexus. So these energy centers actually choreograph and work together. They're never working alone. You might feel like you always want to have a vision center, but your solar plexus is your highest octave. We always get kind of programmed, I guess, is the word I'll use for that. But intuitive gifts come in a variety of ways. We're just used to the main stage of seeing and hearing and what have you. But it's just giving us guidance on decisions, a path to take, spiritual connection, showing us the path to take. These decisions are really coming through the mind's channel or solar plexus. You're going to get a knowing. But himself is the natural law, the life force. It's magic. It's shamanic power, not the shaman himself, but it is the power of the shaman. And himself is actually part of the She, the people of the hills, the lords, the ladies of the Fae. These are the old ones. These are the ancient ones, almost like a singer, but not quite. But these are the ones that dance. They mediate through the dance, pouncing on the earth, these powerful energies of the singers to bring them into this world, throughout the worlds to manifest. And they do this for the pure alchemizing joy molecule of it. It's the great alchemical art. It's the dance of life itself. And these are the ones who create, nurture, build worlds along with the inhabitants of all the worlds and the beings in the trees, the worlds and the beings in the waters, the soil, the air, all of it. But they're also the guardians of the galaxy, the cosmos. They even create frequent miracles. So be prepared for the miraculous. They seem to enjoy this. It's the element of surprise. So each one of them has their own potent magic, their own power that acts through all of life. But they are profoundly wise. Their actions are always for the highest and greatest good for everything and all involved. But we too have these powers, these gifts in embryo, these abilities. We're in the womb. Something we gradually earn by using them wisely. They do go Tervedish if we use them unwisely. Just know that. But himself is actually known as just that, himself. And he's the guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, finding no conflict in that because he understands that, the necessary balance of nature, the living bond between all of life. So himself is the breath that moves. It's the air. It's the atom that dances and percolates. His magic is in pure being, living, loving. It's the oneness. Ongus, the journeyman, I talk about him all the time, along with the master maker, have the magic of doing, of the creation of the things. The bright mother has the magic of the manifesting, the nurturing. But himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. He reminds me of the energy of fire, the spark. But his presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped, given form by the earth mother. So he dances as bright as the bright mother as she's giving birth. powering us into this world. So he is the great father, the mystic, if you will, at the other end of our lives. He is the one who dances the great dance of life and also the dance of death. It is himself who, when the piper plays that lonely call on the waves swept ashore over the year's end, the cycle of time and life, dances, opening the gates between the worlds, the other world, so that the dead may pass and go beyond the ancestor realm. It is also he who is willing to sacrifice himself when that is necessary for the sake of those whom he protects, which is each and every one of us. So in between these two dualities, these two extremes, that's where this wild yang energy is actually channeled in through humans to benefit the tribe, the family. His family is all of us, human, animal, wedame, all the things. So shamans actually draw upon his power. He's the gift. The best healers channel a balance between his power, the bright mother's nurturing energy. It all does this cosmic dance, even as our hearts beat between and within us. This is where we learn the magic to mediate the life force through joyful action, joy molecules, and that action and response. Expressing this power through healing, loving, and trusting, that's the conduit. And that's when we become more like himself, utilizing this power. But knowing that himself has appeared today on this mystical Monday, he is not only indicating that a great amount of energy is present throughout our entire week, but he also strongly energizes the other messages coming forward, evolving, futuring, the Merlin effect. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is, more alive, more vigorous, more powerful, more awesomeness, or even more awful, which I tend to not go down that rabbit hole. But the message may indicate amazing vitality, victory, triumph, confidence, even power, the mystical and the magical. So there's a leadership, an ability to command. There's some integrity. There's being steadfastness. It's holding the line. It's the wild power held, channeled for the good of all by will, free will. So himself speaks of protection, either of the messages that you may be feeling or of somebody that we may owe protection to. It's the boundary around that. Like even a child or even an elder, that's our gift and purpose, as a parent or in between the ancestor realm and the children is protecting our children, right? Acceptance of that responsibility, paternal, that's important for our ancestors, children, elders. We're in the in-between, as are our deep committed relationships. So he is the preserver of the natural organic world, the balancing of it, the harmony, the balancer. He's the shamanic power. It may be also indicated here, calling on the elementals, if you get my drift, as well as the potential for powerful spiritual healing within the elemental realm. Calling in an element. He may speak of the erotic, energy, passions, potent creativity, adding power to the passion. But this energy, again, is streaming forward all week long. So this is the energy we're standing upon at the threshold, just so you know. So just a few announcements, but he's for today. Yeah, I'm switching this up. The Rising of the Origins actually started last Thursday. Super excited about it. It's a free 5-day immersion. We already set the stage, the foundation last week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, June 6th, we're going to open up our gift and purpose, optimizing our gift and purpose. If you are in, I sure hope you are. But it's the elementals, combining the elementals with the subtle energies, discovering your unique gift and purpose. We all have it. So are you loving it? I sure hope so. And this week's audio room artist, we've got Lynn Rivers, mapping the divine feminine through the endocrine system, which the endocrine system actually is attached to every subtle energetic center in the body. There's an octave there. But she's a fresh voice, the Season of the Witches, loving it. And the 722, I'm not going there. However, that's a great number for this episode as well. I'm using the Tonya D podcast. Be sure to comment so I can have some of these great interviewers back for round 2, audio room artist in the medicine room. So let me know. You can find that on my podcast, my website, Musing with Tonya D podcast. Just Google, Apple, Spotify. I'm kind of whipping it out there. On Sundays, I still do a mystery guest. I should change this up, but I kind of like the image, even though it's off kilter here. But a mystery guest artist. What do I talk about? I talk about your 4 pillars chart, your elemental foundation in the rising of the origins. Private community, nobody knows who you are. If you need assistance with your elemental foundation, what is your useful element? And to bring that in elementally from the subtle into the physical, that's pretty much what it's about. And by design, I do cowrie shell divinations, which are fantastic, and other one-on-one support sessions. Cowrie shell was brought to the West by Elder Melodoma Somé. I was trained and certified by him. So grateful, so blessed, truly. I channel him all the time, not going to lie. But if you are feeling a nudge for a session, be sure to jump in for that. I also have online offerings. I haven't talked about them. I just had that notification from the other world. My first one, it's actually not my first one, but the Energy Body Demystified. I really choreographed this to really speak to people that are new to opening the door to energy medicine or healing. Like, you have a gift, but you're just not sure. But this is foundational. I feel like it's a beginner's journey to really heal yourself. And then after the Energy Body Demystified, I'm kind of one of those so you don't sidestep. Sometimes we try to get ahead of our learnings. Change Your Stars comes after this, or if you don't like Change Your Stars, The Other World, Uncover Secrets of the Other World, or Voices of the Other World, really the beings that live in the other world that we can utilize. That's actually probably my favorite. However, I do literally, we need to set our foundation, which is needed. It's a process of utilizing our tools, not sidestepping them. And of course, I still have Mongolia, but the price has been adjusted. Space is limited. So if you're ready for diving into some spiritual indigenous ways and messages and magnifying your magic, join me in Mongolia. Okay, so with that, we're going from the message of Monday to the message for tomorrow, Tuesday. Ironically enough, on this Tuesday, Talented Tuesday, Terrific Tuesday, following himself, we do have the Master Maker. You cannot make the shift up. Also part of the she, but the 22. This is the otherworldly. So this is feelings, our own feelings, like the feeling-filled empathy channel. It's our sacral, somebody else's feelings outside of us, kind of wavering in between the waves of the astral field. It is otherworldly, right? Feeling something that's not ours. That's like, what am I feeling about the world, and what is the world returning to me about that feeling? And that is really the other world. This is going into the other world, thinking and seeing things through the eyes of the other world. It opens us up to a different perspective, another worldly point of view. The imaginal realm, the mystics, the mages. You can't make the shift up. I'm not kidding. But the Master Maker is skill, it's craftsmanship, it's being the magician, it's moral strength, it's invention, being inventive. The Master of the Forge. Yin fire, right? Forging metal. That's where we create our future. We forge our own souls. So he sees the world beyond the other world, the world of first causes. Through his magic, through his design, he brings them into his own world, the world of the Fae, the fairy realm. And from this world, these concepts, they all trickle down, but on down, streaming down through our dreams and our visions. Picked up by artists, craftsmen. We've all got creative gifts, right? They're everywhere. Whether you really are a forger, maybe you write words. There are so many kinds of different creativity. Don't sidestep yourself. We've all got a gift and a purpose. But he makes the first. He is the original. He makes the original. He's the great inventor. He's the weaver. The sign above his door literally reads, practical problem solved here, solution driven. So these things, as he works, as in fairy magic, whistling while you work, right? It reminds me of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But his songs do as much to shape objects as the hammer, as he blows the hammer. It's the healing cups. It's magic swords, fairy jewels, crowns of stars. All others, any kind of bespelling works, actually, of the finest craftsmanship pass through his forge. It reminds me of Thor, the thunder god, and the troll or whatever when they made Thor's second hammer, along with what's beneath the hammer getting forged. But he's the master of all of the elementals, fire, earth, water, ether, all the things. And he adds the very element of moonlight to everything he creates, the stars. So he would actually be the very first to tell us that superb craftsmanship in whatever you're doing, however magical, it's very hard work. But it's joyful, it's energizing in that hardness, right? But also, sometimes it's always challenging. So he's kind of reminding us that no job is too small to do it magically and beautifully. So his work is done as well as possible, even where it will never be seen by anybody else. Whatever you're doing, add your craft, add your magic, bringing ideas into excellently crafted reality, energy to matter. And that I'm kind of seeing with Mercury hitting Uranus, just saying, you know, it can only be done when we, like the master maker, are willing to plan meticulously, begin carefully, persevere through those challenges, the difficulties, and learning still more of our craft, our magic as we work. True craftsmanship, right? That's also a labor of love, crafting. So we must be willing to really tackle the difficult challenges. Maybe we have determination. Maybe we're surpassing the previous achievements. Maybe we do something so radically different that it innovates a different craft. But patience is the light. It's always required, as is the willingness to do the thing again and again and again, recrafting it until it's even better than ever before, beyond the magic of the best we can do. But the master maker, it's having the strength, the moral strength to refuse the temptation to do anything less, half-assed. He's the protector, a teacher of the traditional values of his craft, not just our craft. However, in balance to all of this, the master is actually reminding us that we also need to learn our own limits, our limitations. Not everyone can do everything superbly. That's why I like to call in other people who have a different magic, a different craft than I do, because that's their gift, their purpose, community. So when we discover our talents and we choose our craft, then we gain greater joy along with fulfillment from developing that skill into an art, into the alchemizing art, the magic. We grow more like the master maker each and every time we do the best that we ever so can. And then we stretch ourselves to do it a little bit better than that. So the message here for tomorrow is to do whatever we can do as well as we can, and possibly even better, and then even make it even better than before. So he's reminding us that even our very best is always desirable in the present situation, but it's necessary for success. In fact, he's asking that we surpass our previous best. Don't cut any corners. Don't take the easy way or the route, is kind of what I was feeling there. Whether making a thing or fulfilling a concept, words, be sure that the design is elegant, pure, functional, following the thread lines, following it, attending to every fine detail. This is like yin metal. In turn, he's committed to us designing loyal beyond our skill, and then raising the bar, raising the level of our skill to really fulfill it, giving and accepting only the best, to do it with love, unconditional, of our craft, whatever the craft may be. Have you ever noticed that when you're in the flow, like time flies by? But this is a message of long-lasting achievement, creative problem solving, confidence in our actions. But it also may suggest possibly getting cooperation with others, especially from a position of responsibility, of integrity, or of teaching one's craft to others. Success comes from practical application of traditional principles in life, but also in work. We got to do our magic. So with that, on the elemental highway, I'm not sure if you can see where I'm choreographing this whole story today, webbing the weaver. Look at our day. We've got a yang wood horse of a day. And remember, yang wood, of all the day masters, needs all of the elementals for balance. The tree of life, the tree of knowledge. This is the tree of passion, obviously. But our day is a lonely tree. It doesn't have any friends. Support is in the distance in the rabbit, and also the water. But the rabbit is a conflict. The yin water is our support. The snake and the horse, the southern direction, southeast, southwest, where I'm sitting. But the hour of the goat, the greatest of all time, we're going to get extra spicy. We've got a total fire direction, frame of that fire. The yang wood is feeding our passions, our passionate creations. The rabbit is as well, but the rabbit is competing for our attention, innovating, initiating, leading with those innovative thoughts, percolating. Thoughts that seem as if they come from literally the other world. So all this fire is an energy of action, our creativity, passionate, performing, taking our ideas, our innovation, and putting them into action. The horse and the yin fire of the month, that's more drastic, possibly a little bit radical, or it's seen as radical, because anytime you don't follow the current thread, you seem otherworldly, just right. We all go through that. But in the physical, we create the wealth in the yin earth, that's below the horse, and the yang earth, we're kind of gifted the wealth to root our wealth into this world. It's as if the other world is opening the door so we can manifest and bring that in. I'm telling you, the snake being more of a gracious performance in our impassioned self for the world to see. That's the yang fire. Yin fire is inside of us. We've got the heart, the small intestine. We also have the liver. We've got the gallbladder. And the yang metal, that's leadership. It's the manager. It's the CEO. In storage, power, powerful leadership. Like you know this inside of you. It's waiting to burst out. Actually, probably at the hour of the pig. A role that you may not want, so you actually keep it in storage. But the water in the year is a resource. Resources coming towards us. A mentor, being gifted, help, assistance, all of that. So you may be feeling most of this literally inside of you, in your inner world. It's very yin energy. So it's like something's going on inside of us. And it's time to bring it out into the stage of life. So I would see that as like, what's the message? Society, dreams, wishes. Where do we belong in this choreography of life? What's your gift? What's your purpose? Your heart knows. What you love knows. What does your heart love? What do you love about that longing, that desire? The longing is where our heart belongs. And when you're at the same frequency, vibration as that longing, you attract it. But I am feeling nature, going to nature, the imaginal realm. We have himself. We've got the shamanic gift of power today, like a shaman. That actually comes through our hands, actually. A lot of people call it Reiki. It's a command center, nature. Also go to the waters, resources, getting us into the flow, using our voice to communicate our belonging, a feeling of what we're able to decide or commit to, a solid feeling, climbing the mountain. Actually, I'm seeing a goat, the greatest of all time. Okay, on Wednesday, the message, we've got the fawn, following the master maker. Now, the fawn, every time I always am like, oh, this is the singer of the realm. Then I'm like, no. But the fawn is not a singer of the realm. The fawn is part of the fairy guides and the guardians of the galaxy. So these are the ones who devote their time, their energy to really directly guiding humans. So if you're feeling at a crossroads, as we develop, you can't make this shift up. Our gift, our talents, our purpose, our prime directive, our personal medicine, our own natural magic. They really assist us to become more than we already are, exploring our potentials, transcending all of those self-imposed limitations, whether it's limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, limiting feelings even, along with all the fears as well. Usually they help us to climb out of the holes that we've actually made for ourselves by misusing or misunderstanding our gifts, talents, and our potentials, our purpose. And also having a sense of humor. Humor is very necessary. The Candomblé village, if you know what I'm talking about, along with being a very magical, gifted person, they really like to encourage that in each and every one of us. The dance, the laughter. So these fairy guides also help us to discover the joys, the joy molecules, the particles of living more harmoniously with nature, being connected to nature as we move into greater harmony, into the oneness, free will with the fawn, which is the 35, which actually brings me back to the moon, the full moon. But this is being mindful of a belief, thoughts, and beliefs. It's like believing something and then knowing it. Sagittarius is beliefs. Gemini is the mind, being in a divine alignment. I think we're still choreographing the hangover after that full moon. Deciding from that belief and thoughts as they merge, their collaboration. So this is understanding the nature of nature itself, its natural wisdom, its natural magic. This is the merry, it's the irresistible. It's the fawn dancing in the garden, frolicking in the woods, playing in the meadows. Can you get the vision? Singing out for each and every one of us to go out and do the dance. Can you see the fawn in there? Like when I took the image, I was like, holy shift, there's the fawn, right? You can see it. Under the moonlight, that's where he dances as well with him. So it's he who knows the secrets of nature. He knows where the robin's nests are hiding, where the mice hide as well, where the squirrels jump around. I saw a squirrel this morning running across the street. It was great. Who lives in the burrows of the rabbits? Where do the pixies like to do their dance? So he's teaching us to understand, appreciate, express the innate parts of ourselves that dance in the moonlight with the fae, the other world, sings to the dawn stars with the birds. I love waking up to the birds chirping. The crickets have gone because of the thing, but we won't get into that. Humming with the flowers blossoming. So this is also the part of us that plants the seeds with the loving pat. I did this morning. You dig in the dirt and you pat it and you do a little blessing and you talk to it so it grows in the garden. It really provides healing energy streaming in. That's what we do with our hands. That's how the fairy style comes out, for just doing that, patting. But this is the no fuss, no bother, just intention, natural human magic, gift and purpose. Natural magic, very simple. We're all full of it. We all have it. And the more we are in tune to our own nature, in our own authenticity, our gift, our purpose, the more we have access to our own divine magic, the being that we are, our starlight, our star grid. When we're caught up in believing in limitations imposed by others, culture, our upbringing, mentors, the things, that's when we inhibit the flow of this energy, which is the melody of ecstasies, the song of the cosmos. It sweeps through us, the galactic song, opening ourselves back up to the song of the universe. It can be a very long, complex kind of business to initiate, especially once we've actually closed it down in some way. This happens, but it requires a great deal of thought, self-observation maybe. Also, the help of others, other people being in reflection for us in the form of possibly therapy, online course activations, just saying, simple friendship, just simply acknowledging somebody has a gift and you see it by divine design. But the process of opening is made clear and more gentle through the eyes of others, right? So if we allow the gift of Mama Nature, our own natural magic, to assist us, spending time in our gardens, parks, forest hiking, forest bathing, open spaces, really helping us to reconnect. So does just growing herbs, flowers, geraniums, pots in the windowsills, all the things. So does taking time and space, looking out into the stars, out into the galaxy. Like I sleep outside and the moon was galactic, super juicy. It was actually quite curious because you would think the moon goes this way, but the moon was over that way. I'm kind of curious about that. However, just observing the stars of the sky and the state of the magic of the sky, listening to the whispering winds, often it just helps to simply observe, be an observership of all the natural processes and changes that are going on around us simultaneously. Mama Nature is always up to something, right? There is no natural place is the same for 2 moments in a row. So life is about the process, not stasis. It's not static. So we're processing. We're not things. We constantly change, transmute, transform, cell dynamic, even when we resist, even when we think we're stuck. So the fawn is actually begging us to come with him, tugging at our hand, pulling us out. It certainly is futile, right, to struggle against the flow of the universe. It creates disruptors in our field. So we might as well dance with the fawn. Stuckness is an illusion anyway. So dancing with him and it will actually come out okay, right? That's absolutely right. We all know it, at least, hopefully. Many of the blocks in ourselves and our lives will actually come out perfect much more quickly if we reconnect and go with him. Opening up our hearts to him, Mama Nature, all the things, they too are filled with the magic, just like each and every one of us. So his message is that the natural magic is actually already happening. And when things flow almost effortlessly, being in the flow, that's the sign. That's the natural magic. It's the play. It's at work. So it's time to really enjoy it. The joy molecules percolating. It's a very important part of natural magic. The simple part is just allowing the energy to flow through us. I'm in the flow. I cannot believe, I just can't even tell you. But this means both giving and receiving freely and allowing and letting the energy flow. Don't push it. Don't try to control it. Just kind of flow with it. Just dance with it. Trust it. Trusting is huge. And remember to keep returning to the source for inspiration to keep your heart filled with that light, being a conduit. Super exciting just feeling that through. I mean, just saying that out loud, I can already feel it. And then on Thursday, you cannot make this shift up. Just saying. Surprise, surprise, we do have a singer of the realm, Unity. I've been hanging on to this through this whole show, but which actually brings me back to Monday to be in line, divine alignment with the oneness, the oneness. What does your heart love? What is our heart open to receive and accept? The divine pour of love. Unity is actually going to come to us on Thursday with the singers. So what are the singers? The singers sing the song, the melody of the galaxy into our world. They're the singers of the realm, their melody. These are absolutely, they are the great ones. Their wingspan, the multiverse, the galaxies. We've given them a plethora of names, gods, divas, angels. I mean, I would even go with mages and witches and shamans myself. It really doesn't matter what you call them as long as we call them in. That's really their support to us that the universe is gifting us. They really are the underlying song of the universe. They are the hum, the sounds of the universe, the natural hum of the galaxy. To us, to the fae, to the animals, these are the great ones. They show us all, whether we're in human form, whether in an otherworldly form, the otherworldly form, fairies, trolls, whatever, what we have the potential to ultimately become. They're really helping us, assisting us to really flow and move in that direction and comfort us when we fall off the path. They're constantly with us. It's their energy, forgiveness, compassion, always available by divine design. When we need it, all we have to do is ask them for help. Gratitude, right? And just be aware of the events or insights that really follow that request when you're in the flow. But it's also thanking them for the gift, arigato, right? And opening ourselves through prayer, meditation, love, the divine love to the singers, streaming that in, universal streams and personal streams, divine love streams, allowing their essence to really flow through each and every one of us, being divinely connected to a singer, probably every day, channeling the other world, just saying. But unity, what is unity? So when you think of unity, what even is that? That is the oneness, right? It's knowing in the oneness, at least for me. Unity is the oneness. This is union. It's the mystical, magical experiences. It's our spiritual home. Unity always comes first, but it also comes last. It's in between where we have the illusion of this duality. It brings me again back to Monday or today, which we all believe in for a very long time. This apparent duality is ultimately shown to be an illusion, but it's an illusion through which we must pass through. This is where we learn to grow, and then once again, we return to just that, unity, the oneness. We get into the flow. So you may have had mystical experiences where you've had true union with other beings, or even with unity, the one who has it all. So such experiences ultimately drastically change our lives, effectively showing us that saying we are all one is not just a pious belief, but a statement of an actual fact. We are all one. We are not separate like flowers in the field, but we are all one. What we see in ourselves, we often see in the other. The only way to reach this awareness is to really surrender the small, everyday self to the larger, spiritual, higher self, which is actually unity. It's our spiritual home. So experiencing full oneness with the unity is very transformative. Even just looking at this image, if you will, like what do you see there? I can see illuminated horns like on a deer, different, but I can also see the eyes. I can see the infinity, but this, it's all this power. It's focused in this image, all this vast energies. It's as if all the power is looking for a place to really happen. That's actually what exactly is going on. It's the unity. Unity is the energy of the cosmos, still manifest, still without form, energy to matter. So here we see the dark, but we also see the light. We see the goodness. We see the masculine. We see the feminine. We see the active to the passive and all the other polarities, all expressed in balanced energy field vibrating union. All that is one. And that one is God, Goddess, the principal expression from all of this. All else, everything else derives. So this is a source from which we draw our strength of every being, of our very essence, our own very essence. So the message here, however, is possibly we've become overly focused on the differences, the disagreements, or because it's otherworldly, maybe unity is actually personal streaming to us, universal streams. That seems, sometimes we do feel separate, we feel separate from ourselves or others. So that might be preventing us from achieving our true potential, even happiness, fulfillment, whatever that looks like. We may feel alienated, unwanted, lonely. And if this is so, I'm a hermit. We need to focus on what we have in common with those around us. For me, it's going to be the Wetamaze, it's going to be the cats, Thor, Diddy, far or near, dear, doesn't really matter. So we may need to heal our own attitudes, our beliefs that contribute to those feelings, the feelings of separation, knowing that we are connected, unity. We could also maybe consider how we might find some reconciliation, clarity, water with others. Forgiveness may be the key to open that door, access it. Prejudice, judgmental, critical attitudes, stuff like that, all push us farther and farther into the delusion of separateness, into the loneliness. It reminds me of the devil from last week, but just moving towards allowing others to be closer to us. Intimacy, not intimacy as in intimate, but intimacy, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, just gradually dropping the defensive attitudes that hold us away, keeping us alone. So don't wait for others to make the first move towards reconciliation or connection, but really reaching out to them with compassion, selflessness. This may be difficult, even very difficult at first, right? Requiring maybe some shadow work, some inner work, some self-studying, maybe call in a skilled healer, a teacher, a therapist, whatever works for you. Even in meditation or prayer, and really asking to be in holy communion with unity. Deep within ourselves, the unity deep within ourselves. In unity, that's where there is trust and love and the divine ecstasy. It reminds me of golden kundalini, actually. So that's kind of the message there. And then on Friday, we've got honesty. Yeah, this is a long one, but which is just that, honesty. So are we being honest with ourselves? The 40 though, what is the 40? This is the other world again. This is probably protecting the other world, guarding our imagination. Maybe we're calling in the guardians of our galaxy, our imagination, our realm, innovating, love attracting, law of attracting. Maybe you're protecting what you have law of attracted, winning the lottery in my case, I'm telling you. But honesty, it's just that, honesty. Compassion, tact, maybe you've got some self-deceit happening around you. We do have, the rabbit goes against the tiger, or our day today. So, that might be happening. But honesty is part of the helpline troop. So that tells me we've got the wee folk, large and small. They're here to assist us in our day-to-day lives. Sometimes they do add a little bit more salt, a little more confusion, just saying, usually in an effort to be helpful. But these are the fae that are associated with all of the elemental realms. You can't make this up. Whether it's a star, air, fire, moonlight, metal, ether, whatever you want to call it. Some of them work alone, some of them work in groups, but they're full of life, fun, generally a little sassy, more often mischievous, just saying. But if you just look at him, could you even doubt for a moment that he sees you just as you are, authentically? He's loving you unconditionally anyway for all your hiccups. In plant form, this is what I love about him. That's how we see him the most, in plant form. Honesty comes in plants. Purple flowers in the spring. Later on, he produces those little silvery white circular seed pods in the fall. Reminds me of like the daisy pot, not the daisy, dandelions floating through the air. The small images of the full moon. These little earth moon seed pods really remind us to reflect upon our reactions, feelings, to throw light into the darkness, to deal honestly with ourselves and others. Having other botanical names, honesty has been known as the satin flower, the silver dollar, moneywort, penny flower. There are others. On Monday, which is today, the moon's day, as Lunaria annua. Say that 5 times. But he's also said to repel monsters and unshoeing the horses, because horseshoes have stumbled upon him, treading upon him, right? It's a very fairy thing to do. But who can actually blame him when you think about it, treading on the ground? Honesty is speaking of the unsurprisingly, the element of surprise, the need for straight dealing and authenticity, truth, representation. So we need to be kind of scrupulously honest here and with ourselves, making certain that there is no room for confusion, misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges, no ruffled edges, both written or verbal agreements needs to be completely clear. I'm just seeing a contract where we rewrite it. Assumptions, people assume a lot. Maybe they're not understood by everybody involved. So maybe we're assuming they need to be tested that they're understood. And on a personal level, he's reminding us not only to be clear in what we're saying or doing, but also to act and speak with compassion and have some tact. Being brutally honest is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted towards the worst, right? And dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Bouncing on the fine line of loving honesty, maybe take some effort, rich rewards in the effort. Honest, humility, idealism, clarity of mind are just some of the advantages of honesty, being authentic in our words. That's this week in Preview. That was a lot, I know. However, join me in the Rising of the Origins, this year's free 5-day immersion to rise from your origins. Day 2 starts tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. We do have a day 3 as well. I may or may not be going live depending on the events and other unique happenings that are happening for me. But be sure to join me and I will for sure see you on the other side. Be like himself today, our message for the day, and really affirm that your heart knows where you belong authentically. I, by design, received the memo. I got the gift. So with the moon in Capricorn, you may be feeling that it's time to commit to a new way of feeling that's stirring in your thoughts. Allow what you feel to decide what you do or don't belong thinking about your day-to-day life in this reality today. What thought could you install or download from himself that lights up your heart? What's the air quality of your heart's idea? Air carries ideals around on the winds about your day-to-day life. So the quality of the environment of the air that you breathe. Just a thought percolating. So with that, I will see you on the other side. Join me in the Rising of the Origins. I'm not sure I'm going live tomorrow, but either way, blessings to you and for you. Gift and purpose is on the horizon tomorrow.
Through my own near-death experiences, the beauty of dying, I mean, it's a gift. Death is actually a gift when you live your life in accordance to, your spiritual law, whatever that looks like. And I think that I wanted to bring in a welcoming of death and learning how to navigate it from a space of positive release and actually allowing people to experience death. We're born into a world that's so sterile, and we die in a world that's so sterile. We put them in the hospitals, we dope them up on morphine, and it's just like they don't experience their death. And I think it's really important that we understand that death is a part of the process, and it's not something to try to get around. It's something that we need to embrace and see that people, when you let someone die on their own terms without medicating them,